Why hello there, welcome back to my channel. It is of course Chelsea of She Designs Things, and welcome to part 2. Yay! I know it's been a long time. Well, it's only been like 2 weeks, but I'm spacing them out intentionally so that people who are new to my channel can kind of catch up on things. Alright, so this is part 2 of designing a website, a Google site particularly, with a web designer. So we are on to phase 2, technically. Well, phase 1, branding, and then phase 2 of web design. And I'm spacing them out this way as far as the phases go because there is a lot of information that goes into phase 1 and phase 2. And I don't want to skip the branding portion so that, the branding part is essential to your Google site, and we will cover it in this video. So, of course, if you want to continue on with the series, then keep on watching. Alright, so let's go ahead and get in the video. By the way, for those of you who are new here, my name is Chelsea. I'm a professional photographer, web designer, and graphic artist. Well, digital artist. And I make these YouTube videos to help small business owners like yourself. Alright, so got the pleasantries out of the way. If you haven't seen the first part of this video, make sure you check it out. I will leave a card up here. And now let's go ahead and get into the branding. So why am I starting with branding? So as you can see, I do have this Word document along the side. I have this here just kind of as a reference. I had to really think and write down what it is that goes into branding, and it's important that we do this. It is critical to your web design. If you do not have something to go off of, a guideline before building your website is going to look awful. It's going to look terrible. So just so you know, I have made a decision on what Google sites I will be creating, and it's something that I haven't done yet. And that is a travel site, not a travel blog, but a travel agency. Yes, I know it's different. I'm excited for it. So we are going to start with a travel agency. And I am going to create some custom HTML and some other custom assets. And I'm going to walk you through kind of how to do those things. But particularly, let's just start with branding. And then we'll get into the advanced parts in another video. But right now, this is what you need. So we have the branding coming up. What is branding? As you can see right here, I have it. This is the phase where we focus on defining the needs of the brand. So we do this in discovery if you have a client, but for yourself, how do you discover what your brand is? Think outside of yourself. If your business was a person, not your business is you, unless your business is you, but if your business was a person, what's the tone of voice they have? What kind of a mission statement? What give yourself a persona almost. What I like to use to develop these personas is a Milanote. If you've never heard of Milanote, it's super easy. I always leave a link, by the way, in the description to anything that I share on my videos. So just go ahead and check out the link down below. This one is it's a Milanote. If you share it with others, you can get more space. But I'm just sharing this with you because this is a great place to start when you are trying to come up with a brand. And let me move this out of the way right now, just so we can see the full screen and get started. Alright, so I have this brand card in here. So when you're in Milanote, you'll get a board. You can use Canva as well. They do have boards now too. I just prefer the look of Milanote. It's just easier, and I like cards. I really like the cards. They're nice and they're neat. So if you want to get the branding card, you'll just go over to where it says boards, drop the board down, double click it, and then you can start with an empty board like this, or they'll show you the templates. So if you click on more templates and say you want to see, they have a ton of templates that you can work with. Game design, logo design. So if you click on logo design, a logo project plan, logo brief, brand positioning, brainstorming, everything you need to really get started on that logo design project. So this is what you'll see for the logo project plan, the logo brief. So the information you receive, like, hey, this is what we're going for, the aesthetic, brand positioning, brainstorming. Now we're also going to be working with colors, which is free to use, but I do have the pro plan, you know, to support small businesses. So I do have the pro plan, and we'll be working inside of Canva because I want to make this as easy as possible for you small business owners out there. We're using design inspiration to locate some imagery that's going to help us get inspired, and I'm using this product called Baseline. Now Baseline I got as a part of app Sumo. It was something I saw that I was interested in. It's a little like Canva, except it's centered around brands, and I liked the way that it works to help you build that brand. And I'll share a link down below so that you guys can check it out. This is not an affiliate link. I just thought it was really cool, and it made it really efficient for me to work with. So without going on too long about all the tools we're going to be using, these should be primarily the 5 tools that we're going to be using to create our brand. So we are working with a travel site, so a travel agency. So let's first get some inspiration. So we can start with a color if we want, or you can even start with something as simple as a word. So we'll say travel, and pull up travel. What do you think of? We got imagery. These are great. Are we talking about vacations? What type of travel agency are we gonna be? Me personally, I'm thinking we're going to be more of the backpacking around the world kind of travel agency. Like, listen, we handle all your trip stuff for you, but all you bring is your backpack, and we give you the plans. Like, I think that's really cool. So we'll do something to that effect. Side note, I do have a travel agency client who does use Google Sites. And so that is the reason why I decided to do a travel agency, because I had never done one on my channel, but I do work with a travel agency to create their Google site. Now, they were already built in Google Sites, but I am just taking over and making it better. All right, so we have an aesthetic that we want to go off of. Let's do something that's a little boho, because that's more of my style. So boho colors, and you can kind of Google what that is if you need to, but I'm thinking clean lines, luxury brands. Most luxury brands use black and white. They usually don't use any color, but that's boring. We're gonna add some color. So let's start with now that we have an idea of the imagery of what travel means, let's start looking into the colors. Now, as you notice, I'm not writing anything down, and this is because I'm brainstorming ideas. And although it's not on my first point on my list, it is something that you'll do a part of discovery if you're doing it yourself, is brainstorming ideas before moving on to any of the other phases. So let's go ahead and get to the colors. Let's see what colors really jump out at us, and you'll tweak the colors so it really, really won't matter if you don't like any of them to start. So I'm actually just going to use the generator and press it until I see colors that really speak out to me for the brand. I really like this color. To like a color or to save a color, you can toggle the lock. This will lock the color in place, and I do like this color. So now in here you can just keep clicking, or if you have an idea of what you want the color to be, you can definitely click on the color there. And if you want to take a color off, just unlock it. And this last color I'm thinking is going to just be white. Like a pure white. So I'm going to go in here and just say, there you go. So that's solid white. And I think this is a great starting point. Now, to save the palette, you can save it or you can export it. I'm going to export the palette just because I might change the colors, but it gives me an idea of what I want to work with. I chose these colors because of the earth tones, the blue, the clay, the white, the green, the earth green. I like that look and that aesthetic, but I also don't want it to be too bold. So we'll see, because we also have to design the logo portion of it, but we need to get started with the branding first. So let's just go ahead, save this as an image, and I'm just gonna say brand colors -01. And I do the 01 because this is the first iteration of colors, so that's why we're just gonna export it as an image. We'll save that image file, and once it's saved to your computer, this is what you're left to work with. So cool, we have these images, these colors. I'm just gonna move them off to the side, just so I know what I'm working with. Now, in theory, once you have your colors, you can actually start working inside of the colors panel for your themes, but because I'm not going into themes right now, I'm not going to talk about that. We need to do the branding first. So typically we would do a tone of voice, you know, what tone do we want to give the business. So I'm actually going to jump inside of here, and we're going to start creating a brand. So I'm going to use the create a brand, and what is the name of the company? That's the one thing I have not shared in this whole 20-minute, I don't know how many minutes it's been, is the name of the company. So I think I want to name it something simple, and I want to name it, let's see, and Travel Co. And I think I'm actually going to start it with an ampersand because I think that would look better. Okay, so, and I think this just came off the top of my head. The whole reason I chose and used an ampersand was, first I like the way the ampersand looks, especially in a lot of fonts. Those you can really work with to design a logo and make it look like it's traveling. If you want to go that kind of, I want the logo to look like what I'm talking about route, but I don't really care about that because it's irrelevant. We went with it. We're just going to go with it. I think it sounds good. All right, so do you have a logo? Let's say no, because it's going to ask us to create a logo. And what's cool about Baseline is you can start with the color palette, which is why I saved the first color palette but didn't move forward. So it's giving us an idea of, hey, what colors really speak to you? What do you want to work with in here? I like this one. I like the first one. We'll go with the first one for this. And you can definitely change them. So this gives me a great starting point to work with. Why would I ever do that? I really like the way this looks. Very clean, minimalistic. I would change the first ampersand symbol to maybe play fair display. Yeah, I really like the way this looks. The clean line. We're gonna go with the clean line look. That just stands out more though. This is goofy, but I love it. This is goofy. I like the way this looks. Now, when it comes to logo design, to each his own. I do want to keep this simple. Typically, I would do a logo. The fact that I know what every font is on the screen just screams that I'm working too much. Oh, that looks awesome. So you can kind of see that I really like the clean line ones, but I do like these kind of strange fonts because they just, I don't know, they stand out, they look different. But if you want it to be perceived as something that is high-end, something that is cultivated, think about the types of high-end brands that are out there and what they use, such as Chanel or some of those other ones out there. Let me look, actually. I don't know luxury brands like that. Actually, other than like clothing brands. Okay, yeah, like Dolce & Gabbana. All of their logos are really simplistic. They really don't use anything crazy. They usually just use words, to be honest. Yeah, like see, Dolce & Gabbana. really big with Dolce, and then small and then Cabana. So theirs is very simple. Same for Balenciaga. It's really short, really I want it to be like high end, but I want it to be boho as well. So look, Balenciaga is really small font they're using on their website, and black and white color palettes. Same for this one, black and white color palettes. Same for Chanel. So same in Chanel, just their double C's, which are often duplicated, imitated, I should say. So Chanel front and center with the words and the verbiage, but as you can see, color palette white and black. Because they're selling products and not experiences. Remember what you're selling. If you are selling a high-end product, you want your product to stand out. You don't want to be distracted with what's on the website. So that's why when you go to like some of these major brands, they are using very simplistic color palettes, because it's not about the website, it's about the product, like the model clothing, not even the models, it's the clothes that they wear. Like I would wear this. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. And I got a swimsuit like this. So Pace, let's see who else. Armani. What do they have? A black and white color palette. We're using a serif over here. So yeah, just a lot of black and white, and as you can see, very classic fonts. So it's up to you to determine what style of bougie you want to go when it comes to like a high-end brand. All right, so we got an idea of what the uber rich, definitely not me, be rocking. Do we want to go that route? I mean, do we really want to go that route? Yes, we do. We want to go the bougie route. So I'm going to scroll all the way back up. All right, so we're just going to pick one to make, for the sake of the video. We'll just pick one and we will go with it. So I think I'm going to pick this one here. I like the V. It reminds me of the V in I think it's Louis Vuitton that has the V that's like that. Yes, I like the V, so that's definitely gonna stay because it's the same style. So we're going to tweak it just a bit. We're going to, let's see, the letter spacing. I want them to be spaced out a little bit more. Transform. I guess this one is set to capital only, but I do want there to be more spacing in between the letters. All right, so now I'm going to select it. Now these are the brand colors. Now here we can actually change the brand colors in baseline, and that's what's really cool. So if you don't like this color so much, like if you want to change them, if you want to add a color, you definitely can. I am going to pull up the color palette that we just saved and see what I want to do, if it's something I want to keep. Like I like this color here. I want to set this as the main color. I know I set the color in for the logo in the previous one. Let's see if I go back, if it'll fix it. It won't. Let's see. But that's quite all right. I know which one it was. Scroll down. Travel Co. Take the color, and I'm going to select this darker color because that is beautiful. Okay, so select. So this is going to be the darker color. It's the main color, primary color. I'm going to delete this color. And then I am going to add a color, and the color that I'm going to add, and I'm going to add one more color. That color is white, pure white, which is FFF. We can just do that. And these are my brand colors. Now you notice I didn't add the blue or the clay. I'm not really too concerned about adding the blue or the gray. It's gonna ask if we have any gradients that we want to use. I do like the idea of having a gradient, so I'm going to save this as a gradient, and this is a gradient, and this is a gradient. So I do like those first three gradients, and I do like this gradient here. So I think these are the gradients I'm going to work with. So confirmed. Now, as far as the font goes, it's basically saying I'm using Open Sans, and I can upload a custom font if I want here in Baseline, or if I prefer, I can use something else. So if you do a drop down, these are Google fonts, as you can see, which makes them pretty awesome to work with. I have an idea that I want to use a specific font, so I want to use the font Julius 1. Yes, so Julius Sans 1, that will be kind of the header font. For the body, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with, where did it go? Oh, I guess it's not, it hasn't. So they do have a new font. It's just not showing up yet. So I'm gonna skip it and I'm gonna go with using, I want something that's going to be light and sort of airy as far as a font goes. So let's see what we're working with. So I think the next font I'm gonna use is called Joust. Yep. So I'm gonna use Joust. Probably going to use it as light, and then for the body I am going to use Joust again, and I'm going to use it regular. So I do have very bold colors, but I want to kind of tone the boldness down with having very lightly scripted fonts. Now, here is a type scale, and I'm not going to go into details of the type scale part of it, but I do want to make sure that this branding video for your Google site is very robust. If it's something you're interested in getting more into fonts, I do have that surprise coming up, but I will not share it just yet. So I'm super happy for it, although you should probably know what it is by now. So I'm gonna leave the type scale here. Actually, I think I want mine to be, yeah, but I like mine as a major third, and you'll see what this means inside of your Google site. And also I'll leave a, well, it's not your type scale, but it's your scale ratio, but I'll leave links and resources down below if you're more interested in learning about font and typography. And it is important when you're building websites actually to know what this information is, especially when it comes to coding. Not really coding, but in the HTML, CSS scope, which is where I work and reside. Now, moving on, I think that this works just great. We're gonna say that the scale is ready, and here we go. What the heck? Now, y'all know that I did not select this. Or maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I did select it and it's zoomed in and it's just pixely and I'm crazy. Safe zone, blah, blah, blah. I like the font. And as you can see, even though it's not going to work, even though the logo doesn't work for me, I can always change the logo. And I know that to be true. So clearly that wasn't the logo that we selected. So we are going to just go ahead and forego the logo portion of it. Jeez. All right, cool. But we'll leave everything else as it is. And now that gave me an idea of where to go. So now let's just go ahead and head on over to Canva. And in Canva, I like to create a design. This design is going to be the logo size of 500 by 500. And we're never going to start over here. I mean, if you're new to design, absolutely. If it helps you to create, go right on ahead. I mean, these are not the best examples of what I would call a logo. So let's add some text. I am going to start with a header text. And we know that our business name is and then I'm going to leave that and just as it is, add another piece of text. And this one is going to be all lowercase travel co period. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I can just increase the size if I need to, but I'm going to just center this all in the middle, just like this. And the and, I'll move off to the side. The and, like I said, I have an and that I want to work with. Let's see, Julius 1. I like the way that Julius 1 is showing up. I don't like the spacing between the letters. So I'm going to change the spacing by going to letter spacing and increasing the letter spaces. Now I'm going to shift it over. I'm going to say position center, and then I'm still going to move it over slightly so that this is not too far off. Now, typically, if I'm doing a design for a client and I need to do something rough and quick and I don't have my iPad and I don't have like a good pen and pencil or nothing like that, Canva is a great place to use, especially on my desktop or laptop or something like that. Even on my phone, it can be, but it's a great place to go and kind of throw a whole bunch of ideas out there if you're not good with a pencil and pen. Now, I did come from the art world, so it's kind of already inherent in me, drawing, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I have artistic family members, so I don't really care if I do digital art or if I do something with a pen, paper, or freaking paint, which I did paint. All right, so let's find another piece of font. I said play fair display, and let's try this one. This one, the taller one. Yeah. So I really like the way this looks. I wish I could make it less bold, but I'm gonna go with this. So this is our new travel company and travel co. Let's position everything. It won't let me tidy it up. Good enough. All right, so everything is pretty much tidied up to this design specification. We're gonna be lazy, and we're gonna just title this Caps and Travel Co. Awesome. So this will be our logo. I'm going to duplicate the page, so I'm going to say logo, and then I'm going to scroll on down. I'm going to say submark. And the reason I did that is because we're not going to have an alternate logo for this. We are pretty much good with what we got. Remove the word travel. Actually, remove the word co too. So it's just going to be an. And so now we have the fave icon and we have the logo, which the logo, we are going to increase the size just a tad bit, position it perfect. So this works. I like the way it looks. I'm going to take the both of these. I'm actually just going to export them individually because one has to have the transparency and one doesn't. So I'm going to say download. The first one, I am going to increase the size just because it's going to look better. But then I'm going to go ahead and crop it. And now that that has downloaded, I am now going to start working inside of Milanote to kind of gather our assets. This gives a great guide, like a super great guide that's quick and easy to look at, whereas this is generally good at helping you upload the information. Like if you already had a logo, it would be really easy. And it's great at creating your brand guideline, like the prohibited use of the logo, your color selections, the CKMYs, the RGB, the contrast, the gradients, the fonts, I mean, your type scale, all of that information can be found inside of here. So the only thing I'm going to do inside of here is actually kind of see if I can fix the logo. So I can edit the logo, save brand. I can edit the brand. This is correct. And I'm going to delete the logo and upload my logo file. So file, we're going to say download. And instead of PNG, we're going to say SVG. And we're going to do this for page 1 because we want it to be page 1 with a transparent background. So download. And now you can see that it's an SVG file, and the same, I'm going to do the same for the fave icon. All right, so now that I have both, let's head on back to baseline. We're going to upload the logo files here. So this is the logo and the logo submark. Great. So it's just showing us the variations in it, and I think the variations look fine. These are the variations. These are the brand colors we'll stick with. We'll confirm those. We'll confirm that these are the fonts we want to use. And you notice I'm not using the same fonts as I was using for the other one. This just looks so clean and so pretty. I really like that. You can download these too, by the way, in here. And the logo marks too. Yes, I love it. Okay, so this brand is awesome and it looks really good. So now we'll go back to the home page and you can see you can add a tone of voice. So I'm going to say add a tone of voice. How do we want this brand to sound? What do you say, images? Oh, I love the earthy tones. As you can see, like people backpacking around the globe, looking happy. But this gives me a really good idea, especially as someone who does travel quite a bit. I love hiking, it's fun. First time I hiked though, I thought I was gonna die. I was like, but then when I got to where the destination was, I was like to Rainbow Falls. I was like, this is awesome. I want to do this again. I was like, why would I say that? And every time after, it's like, why did I choose this? But once you get to the top, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So, all right. So I'm going to say that it looks serious, but we like to joke. We're neutral. Formality, definitely casual. Regard. What is our regard? How do you consider your brand to act? Are we irrelevant? We don't care for respect. Neutral. Everyone is the same. Every word shows honor. I would say that we're a neutral brand. Everyone is the same. How enthusiastic is your brand? We are honest and simple, eager but honest, friendly and willing. I would say that we are we're very new. Like, I'm thinking about myself and I know I come off as enthusiastic, but I am very neutral. I I'm Switzerland. Like, before my sister passed away, me being the middle daughter was literally the Switzerland between my older sister and my younger sister, because they would get into arguments and I'd just be like, yo guys, relax. Like, I was always the Switzerland. So I would say eager but honest. But I think about my brand and Travel Co. What is it that you would want from a brand that is going to be helping you navigate the world, or doing solo backpacking, which I don't know. See, as we brainstorm, it helps you develop the brand a little bit more, especially when it comes to your audience. And as you can see, I haven't even targeted the audience yet, because this is a brand that I'm making up on the spot. So we'll say that it is neutral. We want to choose some humor tones. I'm going to go with, we are witty. Because, witty. Formality tones. Like the formality tones. I would say very conversational. I'm a very conversational writer. That is my style. So I'm going to go with that. Regard tones. Since we are a neutral, what best fits us? Are we candid? Are we honorable? Are we patient? Are we regardful, considerate? I would say that we are honest. And then our excitement tones. Are we cautionary, impartial, helpful, straightforward? I would say that we are helpful. Okay, cool. So here's our brand tone of voice. We can save this. This is going to work out great for us. We are witty, conversational, honest, and helpful. You know, we're eager, but we're honest. So this is really helpful. A really great tool. So I'm going to just save the tone. And then when you scroll down, once you save the tone, I think the tone is at the bottom. So now we have our tone of voice, and we can actually take all this information and download the codes for it if we want to showcase them on different places, such as inside of Milanote. So let's go ahead and head on back over to Milanote. So here we have our Milanote, and I did keep the sample information in here. We can keep this here or we can change it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make up an image by looking at our logo, and I'm gonna duplicate this, and then I'm going to go over to the photos panel, and I'm gonna say hiking. So now I'm going to make sure that I share this image. So share, download. This is page 3. And I'm going to keep it as the size that it is. It does not need to be increased, considering I'm just going to go and drag it into Milanote and change this image out. All right, so to bring in the image, I'm actually just going to delete this one, and then I'm going to drag and drop this image in here, which we can see, and it is bigger than the other one, like as far as the width goes. If you do add it to a card, just you can cover, like right click and move it. So I'm gonna take all of these, excuse me, and highlight them all and then move the cards over just so I can make room for this. And I'm gonna put this just right here. And now the cards, I'm going to highlight them back and I'm going to shift them over. So that's also what's really cool about Milanote, being able to make all of those changes. But to be fair, Milanote is really for brainstorming. And again, you can brainstorm inside of Canva. I just prefer the platform of Milanote. Now we have our audience. We know how we want the audience to be. We don't have to have right here where it says target audience. We can change this information. People are environmentally conscious, they are youthful, they're not necessarily fashionable. We would just say that come on down, we're gonna add one. What would be something that we want to say about our audience? What is it that they care about? That is what you want to target when you talk about your target audience, and that's how you're going to build your brand. Is what is it that they care about? They're environmentally conscious. You can talk about that. That's something they care about. Their age range, we can just say they're youthful, or we can say youthful can be many things. Youthful can be older, younger, because it doesn't have an age attached to it. But if you do have a target age demographic, make sure you put the target age demographic. I know Mattel ain't selling Barbies to me, just put it that way. So we can put something else there. We can say that they are friendly. And I capitalized it, but you can make it lowercase if you prefer, but it is what it is. I'm just going to change it because I don't like the way that looks. Friendly. I'm going to take off the capitals. So people are friendly. And then for values, what brand values do you have? So I wouldn't say we treat customers like gold, always be better, leave no waste. Actually really like all of these things, that what we stand for, being environmentally conscious. We want to say that we, let's say, a smaller footprint, I would say. Smaller travel footprint. Since we are like creating travels, we're not traveling that's freaking, to making waste. Actually, I don't know why I made it capital. It's driving me crazy. I can't decide on what I want. So I would say we treat our customers like gold. I would say we treat our customers like friends. And the reason I chose friends instead of family is because the word family and friends can be interchangeable depending on who you ask. I'll be honest with you, because I'll tell you right now, I can be related to a lot of people, which I am, and they are not my family. And I have a lot of friends who are more like my family. All right, so moving on forward, we have the tone of voice now. How do we speak to people? We already have established that in here. If you scroll down to the bottom, and you can just highlight this information here if you prefer, or you can just, take a screen grab of it, however you want the information to go, because it doesn't have a code to grab it, but I'm going to just highlight it, pop it out actually, so that I can go over here, close this, head on back over here, and go on back to Milanote. So, we cut out the jargon, always admit we're wrong, speak like we're talking to a friend. These are all really good about the brand personality and the tone of voice, but let's add something additional to it. So let's go ahead and go here and slide this card down. the our name. I already said why I came up with the name and Co and Travel Co, because when I was first trying to decide on a name for this fake company, I said to myself, as you guys remember, because it wasn't that long ago, at least in this video's world, it wasn't that long ago. I said, we want everything before and Travel Co. So what does that mean? Everything before and travel company. So, you know, everything it takes leading up to being able to travel. That's spending time with friends and family and, you know, making those little sacrifices before being able to venture off and see the rest of the world. So we already have a story behind our name. So I'm going to go ahead and just type that in here and make it easy. All right, so I've gone ahead and filled out all the information in here, including our competitors. Black Tomato is our direct competitor, focusing on luxury travel experiences. Abercrombie and Kent are our indirect competitor, focusing on adventure. By the way, Abercrombie and Kent and Black Tomato are actual brands. So here is a luxury travel brand if you ever wanted to see one. So they're fancy. Fancy, fancy, fancy. And again, with the black and white look and aesthetic. Now, this is going to come in handy, having these brands, being able just to identify what goes into a travel site and how we want to make it look for our upcoming travel site. So what is it that you're selling? As a travel agency, you are selling an experience. You do not own any property. You do not, well, certain ones, but if you're something like Abercrombie and Kent and other luxury travel agencies, you generally do not own or possess anything. You are selling experiences to people. You're selling destinations. So your imagery better have some destinations. So let's just go ahead and take a look back over in this scope again. And we're just going to say, I want to look at destinations, places we want to go. I want to see mountains, so we can start looking for mountains. So let's look at some mountains. I don't know why I can't get everything to load up. I probably need to restart this browser. But anywho, you get the point. So we can start looking at mountains if we wanted to, or even searching by the color. So that's also what's really cool about design inspiration. We have our color palette all ready, which we can absolutely just bring in here. So let's go ahead and take our color palette, which we chose the color palette. It's already in here. So I'm going to copy this color here. And then in design space, I'm going to paste the color. And now we should be able to find the color. Oh, I gotta actually save it. All right, so here we have our color, our main color. And the first thing that jumps out to me is this beautiful bride right here. I think that's a bride. Oh, I'm probably lying. Oh, I was right, a bride, yes. So her beautiful bridal portrait. So one of the places I would like to visit is India. And I think that that looks absolutely beautiful. So we have those beautiful places in India that we can check out and add. I love the look of this, so we can save this here. I'm not signing in. We have some of our colors actually showing up in here, which is really nice. So we have the mood, we have the vibe. We are on the right track. We are definitely on the right track. So I'm just gonna close that, scroll down, look a little bit more. Definitely love the way this looks. Now, keep in mind, oh, this is so beautiful. The color that we chose is, if you wanted to go with something with India, is the green color. So green and pink are both associated. And this is just general knowledge. It's something you'll learn while developing brands, is how it relates to other cultures. So the heart chakra is associated with two colors, which is green and pink. And so this color green is actually one you would see used in those who practice with chakras. So just keep that in mind. and what the heart chakra really represents in the color green. So every color has an association, and you want to kind of go off of those associations and build off of the colors and how they make people feel, how people interact with them, because people interact with colors. So for me, deep earthy greens make me feel calm and tranquil. And as you can see with all the images, especially of landscapes, they lack that human botheredness that comes with a lot of other colors. So they are natural in the fact that they seem untouched, and I think that just looks absolutely beautiful. So what I also like about Milanote is that you can have your colors. So we're gonna just add our color palettes right in here. I'm gonna actually stack them right almost on top of our photos. So just like this, do something like that, something like that. How many colors we got, we'll have to see. But I am going to add them here, and then I'm going to head on over to here, hide the code, and I'm going to slide it off to the side just so I can take a look at it, and copy those codes and paste them inside of here. So to change the color code, you go over to hex, and I believe you can select the color here. So I'm going to change this to hex because that's the color space I'm working with, and Control V. Oh my God, that's right. It won't let you copy and paste. So actually have to type it in. You'll learn that everything has a caveat, everything. So that color looks beautiful, and it's called mineral green. And then here, so I'm just going to add the colors in here, and then I'll be right back. So the cool part about Milanote is that everything looks like a sticky note. So if you wanted to stack things one on top of the other like this, you could definitely do that. So I'm going to put this off to the side, stack these just like this, and then take these and stack them, let's see, right here and right here. All right, and then that should be all the colors, I think. Let me double check. So 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Wait, what do I have an extra color? So we got pine needle, we got the kelp, we got this one here, this E color. Do I have any with this? I do not. So this should be just solid white. So we're going to take this and we're going to pass by it. Forget it. Just go all the way up. There you go. White. And I'm going to put this on top of it instead of under it. Perfect. So now we have basically everything we need for our brand, everything we need for our Google site. What you can do when you get to this point now is actually export it by going to the export panel. You can export it as an image. I like to do a high quality PDF, and since it's a high quality PDF, you can actually import it into Canva if you wanted to, but we're not doing that. We're just going to export it, and I'll show you what it looks like. And here we have it. This is now our brand, what we got to work with, our values, everything that we need for our business. And I love it. I think it's simple, it's clean. Only thing we're missing is just putting the logos and the submarks in here. And if we wanted to do that, we could, but I already have it set up in a different place, so we will not worry about that here. But just make sure you check out Milanote. It's really easy to get started. It's free. As you can see, I have the free version. I'm not paying for anything. No space, you know, gotta stay cheap. No, I'm kidding, but definitely check out the link below. It is a referral link for me, so when you guys sign up, I get space. And then same when other people you know sign up, you get more space. So that's nice, just a way of supporting the channel if you would prefer. So let's go ahead and head on over to what we've done so far, and we can just wrap it up. So for the branding, typically would take way longer than this. There's a lot of research that goes into branding, but remember, we're just doing stuff. So here we have the tone of voice, which we can say that we've done. I'm actually gonna get a highlighter. We've completed this part, so it's not something we have to worry about. We've already done that. The mission statement, we kind of have our mission statement in the fact that we know what we're doing, but I'm gonna leave this blank just in case we change it. We've established our unique value propositions, so we do have that. We do need to craft a few more statements. So I will leave that blank. We kind of have a mood board to work off of, just that kind of feel and aesthetic. We already have the color palettes and we have the logo. We've already selected our typefaces. We've already explored additional typefaces to create a direction. And now we just need to create web design style guides. So this part is the only thing we need to do, which would be the web design style guides. And that will talk about the image use, font use, icon use, and typically this is something you would do in your brand guide, but for this reason we're not going to worry about it because our brand is pretty much already established. We know what we're doing, so I'm going to remove this from the list for this small business. But for you, your business, make sure this is something that you do. What else? Craft clear statements. We already know what we're doing here, so for these two I'm gonna just highlight them because I'll do them as I go when we start working on the Google site. So as we start moving forward and we move into the web design, which is way longer of a process, I just wanted to make sure that we got the brand portion down, and I feel like we definitely do. So this is the first part of designing your Google site. This is the first part of designing any website. If you hire a web builder and they don't ask you if you have brand guidelines, run far away from them, because I can guarantee you you're going to get some template that they found online and it is not going to be custom. But true web designers will always ask you if you have established brand guidelines in order for us to go off of. I am not a copywriter. I do not create content for you. I position your content in a way that makes your website SEO friendly, and that is important to your website build. But in order for me to make sure that I'm getting you the right style of website, I have to know what I'm working with. I need your branding. It's easier for me to design a website for someone who doesn't have a website. It's so much harder to do a web refresh or redesign when you already have this established brand. But if you already have the established brand, I need your brand guidelines. You can't just be like, yeah, I don't have anything. No. If I'm not rebranding you, then we gotta work something out. You gotta put something on paper. So this is important to getting you started. And as always, I said I'll leave a link down below. And now that we know what we're building, yay, we can start working on the third part of this series, which is actually doing the layout portion, the web design. So because the design portion is the longer part of web design, that video will probably be broken up into two parts. And this video is probably broken up into two parts because it's over an hour long. Now, an hour seems like a long time to you guys, but remember I said it takes weeks, even months sometimes, to do a proper brand. So keep that in mind. All right, I don't want to have this long ending. Thanks so much for watching, and of course, laters.